This area has often been a place of a bit of a lover's lane, basically. People will come up here, there's a bit of seclusion. Obviously we can't see what's going on around us right now. And it would be a place where people could be alone. And there was a couple in 1948. This originally came from a woman called Patricia Brock, who was 18 in 1948. She was engaged to a nice young man called Edwin. And they came up here before they were married for some time alone and encountered something strange. They were sort of lying, possibly the ground near here, they don't say exactly where, but amongst the trees so they couldn't be seen. Busy, then all of a sudden they looked up and saw something strange dancing in the trees amongst them. It was about 15-20 feet away. They described it as a dancing girl. If you can imagine, the slopes here are quite steep down the sides, and it was a girl dancing quite happily in between them. She was a happy looking girl, they said. She was wearing a long dark coat which would jump up each time she danced. She was making sort of balletic movements of one step, jump, one step, jump. And at first they thought it was just a local mad person doing something strange amongst the trees in Honor Oak Park, until she started to dance towards them, and then they realised she wasn't making any sound, and it was twilight. They'd come up in the evening in September, and she wasn't making any noise, and she was dancing very intricate steps on a very steep slope. And at that moment, the lovers, they were terrified at this silent, moving figure, possibly pulled up their trousers and took flight. Just sort of over here is Camberwell New Cemetery, and they thought it could be some ghost created by that. But what happened years later, Patricia, remembering what happened here, wrote to a paranormal investigator by the name of Andrew Mackenzie, and told of her experience. And by then, her and Edwin had got married after seeing the ghost and had since divorced. And Andrew Mackenzie wrote to Edwin again and said, "What do you remember about this?" And even though they had divorced and hadn't spoken to each other for a while, their accounts completely corroborated each other. Same sort of timing, same events. It's only really when I moved to London that I sort of settled in South London, that I got interested in my location as well. And a really good way of finding out about your local geography is looking into the local ghosts and folklore that is there. You look for reasons why there's a ghost, or why there's a secret tunnel, or why there's a particular piece of cursed ground somewhere, and it just makes your walk to work a bit more interesting sometimes. So there is one ghost, which is a report that comes from actually inside New Cross Gate Station. There was somebody, it's an anonymous report on a website for a magazine called Mystery Mag, so it's mysterymag.co.uk, of somebody getting on New Cross Gate Station at 11 o'clock in the morning, and there was a strange man walking immediately behind this person as they went down the stairs to the platform. He's described as having a blue and white striped blazer or anorak and having very old-fashioned trousers. This person was walking very closely behind the person giving the report, going down to the platform. So in proper South London fashion, the person turned around to confront the person sort of tailgating them, where they disappeared. The person who gave the report to the website is thinking that there was the bomb blast here on New Cross Road. Also, there has been some building work in the area. I think the garage next door has been cleared away and is now an empty space next to where the overground goes. And they're thinking that maybe that stirred up some sort of ghost or spirit lying dormant in that area. The only strange thing that's ever happened to me in the borough of Lewisham, ghost-wise, is I was standing outside my then girlfriend's house on Jerningham Road, and rang the doorbell, and all of a sudden there was a breeze, and it almost felt like somebody was whispering in my ear, and then obviously there was no one there. And by the time my girlfriend's housemate had answered the door, she did actually say, "Oh, you look like you've seen a ghost." But I hadn't. I think I'd heard one.